Hear me, Kenga, son of the night. As you bury me alive for your greed, so shall the earth bury your joy. My blood shall drink your blood. My pain shall follow your seed. No child born of your loins shall know peace. Those that breathe shall beg for death. Those unborn shall cry from the womb. Your name shall rot. Your compound shall remember me. Your generations shall carry my shadow. Hello my wonderful viewers, thank you for your time and love. Please help this channel grow by liking and subscribing to my channel. God bless you richly. Many years ago, in the ancient land of Umuala, where forests breathed like living beings and the night had ears, there lived a man called Kenga. Kenga was not an ordinary man. He was a hunter feared by animals and respected by spirits. From his youth, he had walked freely in the dark, barefooted, with only his spear and charms tied around his waist. While other men feared the forest after sunset, Kenga greeted the night like an old friend. Owls did not frighten him. The growl of leopards did not shake his heart. Even when the moon disappeared and the forest became thick with shadows, Kenga moved as though guided by unseen eyes. Because of this, the people of Umuala called him the friend of the night. He married Ola, a woman as gentle as morning dew. Ola was poor, very poor. She came from a broken hut at the edge of the village, raised by a sickly mother who later died. But Ola carried something more precious than wealth, a heart full of loyalty. She loved Kenga deeply. She cooked for him, washed his hunting clothes, cleaned his weapons, and waited for him every night until he returned from the forest. When Kenga came home late, Ola stayed awake. When he returned injured, Ola cleaned his wounds. When meat was plenty, she shared with neighbors. When food was scarce, she ate last. Years passed. No child cried in their compound. At first, Kenga did not complain. He believed time would solve it. Ola prayed quietly. She cried into her mat at night so her husband would not hear. She spoke kindly to children of others, though each laughter pierced her heart like a thorn. 5 years passed, then 7, then 10. The whispers began. Kenga is strong, but his house is empty. Ola's womb is closed. A man without children is a dying tree. Elders began to speak. Friends advised him, Kenga, marry another woman. One womb cannot decide your destiny. Ola heard everything. She never fought. She never insulted anyone. One night, as Kenga sharpened his spear, she knelt before him. If another wife will give you joy, my husband, take her. I will not stand in your way. Her humility shamed him, yet his heart burned. Kenga married a second wife. The woman was healthy. Time passed. No pregnancy. He married a third wife. She conceived. Joy filled the compound. Drums were beaten. Ola smiled through pain. But when the time came, the child came out cold and silent. Stillbirth. The third wife conceived. Again. Stillbirth. Again. Stillbirth. Again. 4 graves. 4 silent cries. Kenga screamed to the sky one night, striking the earth. Ancestors, what have I done? Anger swallowed him. He married a 4th wife. She also conceived and gave birth to stillbirth upon stillbirth. Now fear replaced mockery. Villagers avoided his compound. Women whispered and crossed their legs when passing. Children stopped playing near his fence. A curse lives there. The bloodline is blocked. Death follows his seed. Kenga stopped sleeping. He saw babies crying in dreams, without eyes. He heard women screaming in the wind. His spear grew heavy. The night no longer answered him kindly. One dawn, without telling anyone, Kenga entered the deep forest, to the place no hunter returned from twice. When Kenga finally entered the deep forest, he crossed places no hunter named. Trees bled sap like wounds. Birds flew backward. The air tasted old. There lived an ancient witch doctor, older than memory, hidden in a cave where sunlight never touched. The witch doctor's cave smelled of rot and time. The witch doctor listened. Then he spoke slowly. For children to live, life must be taken. He told Kenga the price. A pregnant woman must be buried alive in your compound. Her grave will become an altar. She will be your fertility god. Feed her with blood. Worship her forever. Kenga did not blink. A hunter of the night fears nothing. He accepted. And fate began to walk toward him. Kenga did not return to Umul the same man who entered the forest. The sun rose and fell twice before he came back. His eyes were red, not from smoke, but from thoughts that refused to sleep. Ola noticed it first. She asked no questions, but fear crept into her heart like a snake hiding in dry grass. That night, Kenga sharpened his spear longer than usual. He tied new charms around his wrist, charms he had never used before. They smelled of bitter leaves and old blood. The wind howled outside. However, in a distant village lived Ogadi. Ogadi was not born unlucky. As a child, she laughed easily. She loved to sing while working. People said her voice sounded like early morning, soft, but full of promise. Her mother taught her to greet elders properly, to kneel when greeting men, and to never answer anger with anger. When trouble comes, her mother used to say, "Let your silence speak first." Ogadi carried those words into marriage. She married Ifeani, a quiet man from a neighboring village. He was not rich, but he was kind. He farmed and hunted small animals. Their hut was small, but it was filled with peace. When Ogadi became pregnant, Ifeani danced alone in the compound, laughing like a child. "My house will not be empty," he said proudly. But happiness in ancient lands often attracts dark eyes. One evening, he returned from the farm complaining of stomach pain. By nightfall, he was sweating heavily. By midnight, he was screaming. By dawn, he was gone. No wound, no blood, no explanation. Ogadi held his body until it became cold. She screamed until her voice broke. She called his name until the elders pulled her away. That was when the whispers began. He was strong yesterday. He ate food from her hand. She is pregnant. In that village, sudden death always needed a witch. And Ogadi was the easiest answer. On the third day, Ifeani's people gathered. Ogadi was made to sit on the bare ground, her pregnant belly heavy in front of her. No one offered her water. No one allowed her to speak. An old uncle stood up. "Our son did not die by chance." A woman shouted from the crowd, "She is too quiet. Witches are always quiet." Ogadi shook her head slowly. "I loved my husband," she said. "I would never harm him." A slap landed on her face. "Do not speak," another elder barked. "Your mouth is full of lies." They brought strange men. Diviners, charm readers, men who smelled of smoke and fear. They threw cowries. They stared at Ogadi's eyes. They muttered words she did not understand. One of them finally spoke. "The spirit around her womb is restless." That was all they needed. That night, Ogadi was dragged from her hut. They accused her of sleeping with spirits. They accused her of poisoning her husband. She begged. She cried. She held her belly and screamed that there was an innocent life inside her. They did not listen. They shaved her hair roughly. They tore her wrapper. They poured cold water mixed with bitter leaves on her head. The liquid burned her skin like fire. "If you are innocent," they said, "the gods will protect you." She trembled violently. Someone threw ash at her face. Someone spat. Children watched. No one stopped them. At dawn, they took her to the village boundary. They placed a broken pot at her feet, a sign of rejection. An elder pointed his staff at her. "From today," he said, "you are no longer wife, no longer daughter, no longer human to us." Ogadi collapsed. "Please," she cried, "let me stay until I give birth. I will leave after." A woman stepped forward. "If you return," she said coldly, "you will not leave alive." They pushed her. She fell into the dust. No one helped her up. They turned their backs and walked away. That was how Ogedy became alone. She waited until sunset before moving. She had nowhere to go, but she remembered her mother's village, far away, across forest paths. She believed a mother's love would be stronger than fear. Her feet were swollen. Her body was weak. Her heart was shattered. Still, she walked. She avoided villages. She avoided firelight. She avoided voices. Hunger followed her like a shadow. Fear walked beside her. At night, strange sounds followed her. She heard her husband's voice once. "I did not accuse you," it whispered. She turned. Nothing. She slept under trees, waking suddenly from dreams where hands reached for her belly. She felt the child move often, as if sensing danger. "Hold on," she whispered again and again. Just a little longer. On the night fate caught up with her. The moon was thin. Ogedy was tired beyond words. Her feet bled. Her throat was dry. Still, she moved. She did not know she had entered Kenga's forest. She did not know the night had teeth. When she heard the twig snap behind her, her heart froze. As she walked, the forest grew thick around her. Ogedy felt it, that feeling that someone was watching. She stopped and turned slowly. Nothing. Just trees. She placed a hand on her belly. "Do not fear," she whispered to the unborn child. "We will reach home." She took another step. A dry twig snapped behind her. Before she could scream, a strong hand covered her mouth. Ogedy struggled, but the arm around her was like iron. She smelled leaves, sweat, and something bitter. A deep voice whispered into her ear. "Do not shout if you love the child in your womb." Her heart nearly burst. Kenga pulled her gently, yet firmly, away from the path. His eyes glowed faintly in the dark, like those of a night animal. Ogedy tried to speak, but fear swallowed her voice. "Please," she managed to whisper. "I am with child." "I know," Kenga replied calmly. That was when she understood. Her legs gave way. Kenga carried her easily, like a hunter carrying prey. The forest swallowed them both. At the cave of the witch doctor, fire burned without smoke. The old man sat like a dead thing that refused to die. His hair touched the ground. His eyes were white, but he could see more than the living. When Kenga dropped Ogedy before him, the old man nodded slowly. "The knight has agreed," the witch doctor said. "She carries life." Ogedy cried. She begged. She promised anything. She called on gods whose names even the wind had forgotten. The witch doctor did not listen. He painted symbols on Kenga's chest. He cut the earth with a knife made from bone. He whispered words that made Ogedy's ears bleed. At dawn, they returned to Kenga's compound. The village was quiet. No one dared come near. Even Ola stayed inside, praying without knowing why her chest felt heavy. A deep pit had already been dug in the compound. Ogedy saw it. She screamed. Kenga dressed her beautifully like a goddess and they lowered her slowly into the earth. Soil touched her legs. Her hands were tied, but her mouth was free. She did not cry again. Instead, she lifted her face to Kenga. "You hunt animals," she said softly. "But today, you hunt your own blood." Kenga looked away. The witch doctor began the chant. Earth covered Ogedy's waist, her chest, her neck. She spoke again, her voice steady, terrifyingly calm. "Hear me, Kenga, son of the night." Kenga froze. Ogedy's eyes burned. "As you bury me alive for your greed, so shall the earth bury your joy." The soil reached her chin. "My blood shall drink your blood. My pain shall follow your seed." The witch doctor hesitated. Ogedy's voice rose, strong as thunder. "No child born of your loins shall know peace. Those that breathe shall beg for death. Those unborn shall cry from the womb." The soil covered her mouth, but her voice did not stop. "Your name shall rot. Your compound shall remember me." Your generations shall carry my shadow. Silence. The earth was filled. The wind stopped. The witch doctor stepped back, fear in his eyes. Kenga stood alone before the grave. Stay tuned for the next episode, where the curse begins to breathe, the altar demands blood, and Kenga learns that some sacrifices never bring life, only horror. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Kenga be pitied, or does he deserve everything that follows? Bye bye.